Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Chloe. Today I'm going to tell you guys all about how I started traveling alone to hopefully make you feel more comfortable traveling alone. So let's just get to it. We are going way back for this. I'm talking COVID times, COVID era. I was really itching to start traveling at that point, but I didn't really have any family or friends that had the time or financial means available to go with me at that time. And it was actually my dad that told me that these travel companies exist where essentially you can sign up where you go with a group. So I really kind of just took that information and ran with it. I started doing some research. There's a bunch of different travel group companies out there. I feel like a lot of them are dedicated to age ranges. So I specifically was looking for a travel group for people in their 20s, obviously. And then even within that, there are so many different companies that kind of prioritize different things. They just have a little bit of a different vibe and whatnot. The travel group that I picked specifically was a travel company that was based a little bit more on exploring and actually traveling the cities and a little less focused on the party aspect of it. So starting with that, I already knew I was going to be finding some more like-minded people. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to party. I just didn't want the whole thing to be a party. But if that's your vibe and all you want to do is party in other countries, by all means, there's travel companies that focus a little bit more on that. So then once I found a travel company that I liked and I super vibed with, I just went on looking for the trip that I want to do. It's pretty cool because I feel like most of the travel companies that I looked at had a system where you can look up, if you want to take a trip for 2 weeks, you can do trips for 2 weeks and it'll give you all the trips they do for 2 weeks, or do one for a month, they do it that way. Or if you want to go to a specific continent or country or whatever, you can look up that and it'll give you all the different trips that they have. I'm not sponsored at all by any means, but the travel company I did use was called EF Ultimate Break. I don't know if I only get ads for it now because I took a trip with them, but I feel like it's all over my social media all the time, so maybe you've seen ads, maybe not. That was the one I specifically used, but again, use whatever you want. I'm not sponsored. I just liked them. To be honest, it was the only trip that I did with them, so I only have the one experience, but for the one experience, it was great. So then on the actual trip, it was really cool because that trip helped me so much become comfortable because I was traveling with a group of 30 people who were wanting to do the exact same thing. And on their website, they say some 60 to 70% of people sign up by themselves. Most of the people in my group were traveling by themselves, which was really nice. There was of course a few people who had signed up with their friend or their cousin or something like that. But regardless, they signed up together in this travel group to meet other people. That is half the point of these groups. That's the entire point of these groups, actually. So I felt a little weird signing up by myself, but literally the majority of my group had come by themselves. So that was really awesome. Between a group of 30 people, I was totally able to find the people that I super vibed with the most and ended up hanging out with the entire trip. I honestly still talk to those people every single day. I love them. I would consider them some of my best friends at this point. So definitely ended up keeping lifelong friends from it as well. So I ended up booking a 30-day total trip with this group through all over Europe. All over Europe is dramatic. I did 7 countries. It was 14 to 13 cities, something along those lines. It was insane. It was crazy. One of the best months of my life, obviously. So it was 30 days, 30 some people in the group. And what was really awesome is they set you up with a tour guide. You have somebody with you the entire time you're traveling. Every city there is one person that goes along with you who can speak the languages. They help you if anything happens, if somebody got COVID or got sick or anything like that, they help set you up with that. So the things that could go wrong, you also just don't really have to worry about, which just put me super at ease because obviously if you book a trip by yourself, if somebody gets sick or something happens or your flight gets canceled or something, you're the one that has to figure that out. And that can be really stressful, especially if it's the first time you're traveling alone, abroad even. So the fact that there was a tour guide who was with us through the entire time just put me really at ease. That group too was also just a really good dip your toe into the hostel world. Because I was staying with a group, we did stay in hostels pretty much most of the time, but what was nice about them is we weren't doing the typical hostel experience because I was sharing a room with people who, yes, in the first city they were strangers, but by the last city they were my best friends. So that was really nice because I got to experience what it's like to, yeah, stay in a hostel without having to sleep in a room with a bunch of strangers for the first time. So that really just helped me like figure out how they work and kind of get comfortable in that setting. I mean, I couldn't recommend enough like doing a little travel group first because there were so many things that kind of just opened me up to feeling okay doing it by myself. So that was the first thing. Really, really, really helped me, I think. On to number 2. This one was hard for me. It was a big thing for me. Like, it was not very easy in the beginning. I kind of just started going out by myself at home because obviously the more that you do stuff like out in public by yourself, the more comfortable you're gonna be with that, right? Said it was not easy for me, persevered, did it. I pretty much would start with like going to coffee shops or going to the park or just like really like big public places by myself. And maybe you already do that, which is great, which is perfect. I just didn't do these things. And it's a really good way to just get yourself comfortable, obviously spending so much time alone. And I think forcing yourself to go out in public and do stuff alone is different than doing stuff alone at home. Highly, highly recommend find something you love to do at home and start to do it like in public or whatever. Like my thing was coffee shops. I love going to coffee shops. I love finding new coffee shops with good coffee and a good vibe. So I would literally just spend a lot of my days looking up coffee shops, go take my little book with me, read, sit there for a few hours. And I'm not like in those moments necessarily going out of my way to chat with somebody and whatnot. Just about being out in public by yourself. That's its purpose. And like, I can't say I was like going out to a restaurant by myself and like having a full-blown ass dinner. I don't feel like I would really do that. I mean, if you can do that, kudos, because could not be me. I still get a little bit scared like going out to eat by myself. But if you're traveling by yourself, it's kind of something you have to do. So if you're willing to do it at home, I recommend just starting to do these things at home by yourself. Literally everything is about confidence, and confidence is fake. I mean, it's not fake, but like, it's a facade. You just gotta fake the confidence and then you'll feel the confidence. Boom, video over. That's all you needed to know. So for the third thing, I took that big 30-day trip with what? Trip with what? I don't know what. Apparently, I don't know what. After I took that big 30-day trip with the travel group, I would take like week-long trips, just like me and one other friend or something like that abroad, so that way we could stay at a hostel, get the hostel experience, but like kind of just dipping my toe into it again. We didn't have to stay in a room with completely random people. At least I knew one other person in the room. Even not going abroad, just like staying in a hostel with someone you know, doing a short trip somewhere, just enough to like get the experience of what staying in a hostel really truly is like without doing it completely alone. And then kind of going hand in hand with that one, but also if you were to just take a trip by yourself, just kind of like fully taking on the hostel experience. They don't only exist to be a cheaper option. A big purpose of them is to meet people. In every hostel I've ever stayed in, they have a pretty solid common area. Obviously common areas depend from hostel to hostel, but I have stayed in some that have some like sick common areas. Some of them have bars or nightclubs even, like downstairs in their basements, or one I'm staying in right now has like a whole ass library and like auditorium space where you can kind of just like sit and chill. Most of them have cafes or like a full kitchen where you can order yourself a meal. The last one I stayed in had like giant Jenga, giant Connect 4, ping pong tables, foosball tables, air hockey. They have books on the walls that you can read. My biggest recommendation is like you just gotta go into it with an open mind. You just gotta be willing to be open and chat with people. Sometimes it's weird and interesting, and I know it's so scary to like go up to somebody and chat with them, but like one time I literally met a guy because I complimented his outfit. I just told him, hey, love your outfit. From there, we just got to chatting. I spent the next 5 days with this man, and he became a great friend. All because I complimented an outfit. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. Sometimes it can just be so easy. But I feel like if people are traveling alone, they are usually really open to meeting other people. As long as you're open to chatting with random people, you will totally find people to go out and do stuff with. Again, this is not sponsored. This is not an ad in any way. But there are also such companies like Hostelworld. It's the only one that I know of, actually. Basically, if you book through them, what they do is add you into a group chat of the hostel you are staying in. Not only that though, but they add you into a group chat of the entire city you're in. Let me pull mine up for you. So they have this little chat feature right here. Here you can see I'm in a group chat with everyone who's in Amsterdam, but I'm also in a group chat with the last 2 hostels I've stayed in. In this Amsterdam group chat, there is 1,466 travelers. Somebody just said I'm going to do this museum in an hour if somebody wants to come join me. So people post all kinds of things like that. I've totally used this to meet up with people. I think that they have a group chat is a great way to meet new people, because then you don't have the scary thing of like having to walk up to somebody. You can kind of just shoot a message in the group chat. I want to go out to dinner. Does somebody want to come with me? Like, even if you are like super willing to chat with people, it's nice just because if your hostel is a little dead, depending on the season, not a lot of people are there. Sometimes there's just like a week where, I don't know, there's not a lot of people around. And so you can't find somebody to like chat with downstairs in the common areas. The group chat is a great way. Again, not sponsored, just a really helpful tool that I like to use. And the last little tidbit of information that I can give you, you gotta learn to be okay with being embarrassed. Girl, the amount of times I have been embarrassed, the amount of times I have embarrassed myself, please. I get embarrassed just thinking about it again, but it's so normal. This is kind of just like a travel thing, not even a traveling alone thing. But obviously if you're traveling alone, I feel like things are extra embarrassing when you do it by yourself. You know what I mean? If you're with your friends, you can laugh it off. If you're by yourself, it's more embarrassing. Like, you are going to get things wrong. If you're traveling abroad, if you're traveling to a different country, there's different norms and things like that. I mean, their trains and like metro system are different. Some countries you tap in, tap out. Some you're supposed to push a specific button to open the door. I've been embarrassed in the grocery store. I mean, countless amount of times. And then on top of that, like, I don't speak the language. So I get something wrong and they try to tell me that I get something wrong, but I don't even speak the language. So, but like, you don't live there. You're traveling. How are you gonna know? It's totally just common sense to the people that live there, but why would you know? And that's on why it's okay to do those embarrassing things, to make those embarrassing little mistakes like that. And you live and you learn, literally. Guess what? Now I know how to function in a grocery store. Embarrassed one time and then never again. I really hope all those things help you feel more comfortable to get out there and go travel by yourself, because really, life is too short. You cannot wait for people to be ready to travel with you. If you want to travel, start traveling. Also, if you just never get to the point of feeling comfortable traveling by yourself, totally fine, no problem. Continue to travel with travel groups. I have friends that only travel with those travel groups, and they love it. So that is all for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and that this was helpful, at least somewhat. Make sure to subscribe down below if you have not already. If you like this video, make sure to leave me a thumbs up because it does really help me out. See you guys in the next one.